Welcome to the Journey 2020. I'm Charles Morris, happy to be here with you on this Monday, coming off the weekend. Well, we're here every Monday at 7 p.m. at www.thejourney2020.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Periscope. And as you know, in the social media world, we like the like button. So we ask that you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button on YouTube as well as Facebook. We appreciate that. And as you know, we're in a place that I don't think we've ever been in as far as my lifetime. And so, you know, the journey, we come to you every Monday at 7 p.m. And on the third Monday, we have our very own Kathy Meeks. She's from Robertson and Associates. She is a family therapist and also a sex therapist, so we have a lot of fun with her. And then on the fourth Monday, we either have Hakina Krumah from Young Fathers of Central Florida. Let me make sure I get this right, because I said program. He said, no, we're an organization with 9 different programs within the organization where they help young fathers as young as 12 years old. That's right, 12 years old on up to about the age of 27. Help them understand and to step into that role of being a father. And you know how important that is. And so it's either Hakina Krumah or our life coach, Miss Regina Johnson. And we're blessed to have her here today. And how you doing, Miss Johnson? Right at that moment, right? Right at that moment, which is good though.
How are you?
You know, we caught you. So how are you, and how are you dealing with all this stuff that's going on, and how's family, and and I hope there's nobody truly in the panic mode.
No,
So
everyone is well. We check in throughout the day, several texts throughout the day through, cousins, aunts, immediate family. So everybody is well. Everybody
okay.
checks on everybody. So make sure that, we have our supplies in place and everyone is doing well health-wise.
Now, are you one of these people that been stocked up on toilet paper?
I'm not a hoarder, but,
So that means yes. See,
no,
that means
no, no,
yes.
no. Let's just say I have enough. Now, I have family members that when they go out, they'll buy extra and then, give it to those of us that are in need. But I'm good. I'm good on the toilet paper.
You want to hear something funny? Because I mean, you know me and my sense of humor, right? And when I start
Right.
talking about, relationships, and you know me when it comes to that, right? Yeah, see, so you start laughing. So over a period of some years, I have my little one-liners that I say like when we talk. And so for years, I say a guy, his goal in life is to be the toilet paper of your life.
Finish it.
No.
Finish it.
So women always look at you like, huh? Like,
Uh-huh.
and then I said, what would your life be like without toilet paper? And then they go like, oh, I get it now. So I want to be the toilet paper of your life.
Oh, heaven help us.
Anyway, in the midst of it all, there's still a place of humor, but there's some seriousness that's going on in this country right now. And what I would like to do is I would like to bring in Trevor, and I want to make sure that I say your name right, Trevor. Is it Mahler? Is it Mahler?
Mallory.
Mallory. Well, welcome
No,
to the journey.
Mallory.
Oh, Mallory. Okay.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
Trevor Mallory. Well, thank you so very much for taking the time to come on the show here at the Journey 2020. Now, I have seen you from time to time, and I don't know if you remember seeing me, but I have been doing work, and I just looked at some of the stuff. I was going over some of my stuff that's in my files, and I just happened to look back. I think it was around 2014, 15, where Commissioner Samuel Ames called me and said the Florida Black Caucus needs somebody to come and do some video stuff. And so that's how I met Jill and everybody over back. I think it was around 14 or 15 because I was looking at some videos from, from back then because I was looking for something else for my pastor. And so I've been around since about 2014 or 15 with a conference come here in Central Florida to videotape and put up the screens and stuff like that when they have the conference that come here. So won't you give us a little history on you, because I know you from the Black Caucus.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, you were around before me because I didn't take over my chapter here in Pinellas County until 2016.
Okay.
And I've been president ever since then. And I'm also the outreach chair for the Pinellas County Democratic Executive Committee. Another thing about me is I used to be a professional baseball player. I was drafted out of high school by the Toronto Blue Jays in
Okay.
1991. So them was the good old days. So to say this, I do give back to my community, now president of a Little League organization here in St. Pete, Florida, where we have about 80 kids. Very diverse organization where I give back to the community and teach these kids the skills of athletic baseball.
Well, Trevor, we're gonna have to talk because I know you don't know this, but I also do a sports show with what we call the original Coach Carter, Vince Carter's father, and we've been knowing each other for years. We've been doing the show now for probably about 6 years, but it's called Youth Central Sports, Wednesday night at 11 p.m. We would love to have you come on the show because I know you got some good stories. I mean, if you've been involved in sports that long and on that level, then we know you got some good stories to tell.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can talk about sports all day. I was a three-sport All-American coming out of high school, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was fortunate enough to be drafted in a second round, which made my decision a whole lot easier
All
in the
right, great.
direction that I was going to go to after high school. Yeah.
Well, we definitely got to have you come on the show. So, when talking to our life coach, Regina, oh, well, you know what? Let me go back to her real quick so she can tell and let the people know. Give us the little short snippet of what you do, real quick.
I am a financial analyst by day, but I also help individuals and families manage their finances, help them to build a plan to get out of debt. And we also talk about how finances or lack thereof affect relationships. And that's it
Well,
in a
with
nutshell.
right. And with that being said, what is a better time than to talk about finances right about now?
Right.
Uh, where do we begin? What do we do? Because on the show many times, and we have known in this country, or probably around the world, we live paycheck to paycheck. This is something different because like now, we're probably not even going to pick up a paycheck. And so, Regina, we've talked and we've had conversations about our inability to understand what it means to have something for a rainy day. But in addition to really not understanding what that means, is this a rainy day or what? What's the talk among your circle? And I'm asking both of you, family, friends, and what's the conversation like about what they're doing and what they're gonna do or what they think may happen, or if they're panic, is what's going on in your circle? And well,
Fortunately, in my circle, there hasn't been a negative effect because my children, other family members are still getting paid. They're able to work from home, and so they're able to garner that paycheck still earn that paycheck. Now, 6 months down the line, of course, we don't know what will happen with the businesses that we work for, but for right now, everyone is okay for the foreseeable future, the next 3 months or so. And when you talk about, I'll just stick this in here real quick, the rainy day fund, when I'm talking to my clients, I want to get them to a place where they have at least 3 to 6 months of funds saved up, so they can, if they were laid off from a job or if they were injured and were not able to get paid, that the basics are able to be paid for. And this is such a time as this, basically.
Okay, Trevor, what's going on in your circle?
Okay, fortunately in my circle, well, my circle is pretty small. I'm really a family man. I have 4 daughters that I'm
Oh my
raising.
goodness. Oh,
So
my
yeah, so
goodness.
on the tissue comment, I'm not a tissue hoarder, but by default, I have to have a lot of tissue in my house at all times.
I understand that, bro.
4 daughters and
Right.
a wife, so that's women in my household. But yeah, man, I'm fortunate enough to be. I'm still working. I work in real estate. I'm a property and maintenance and renovation manager for 3 investors, all which live out of the country. One's in South America, one's in New Zealand, and actually one just moved from Russia to Naples, Florida. So we just get funded by these 3 guys, and we run the day-to-day operation. It's only 3 of us in our office, and we manage 108 properties here in St. Pete. But the main thing in my circle, man, is it seems like since we don't have that many cases here in Pinellas County, I think we've only had about 300 cases in Pinellas County. In Florida, we've had about 500 cases. In our county alone, it's only about I want to say 20 to 30. No deaths have occurred here in our county, so it's really hasn't hit close to home yet. Our focus here is taking care of our children since schools have been closed. I'm in a lot of talk groups. I've been on conference calls all day on how do we continue to feed these kids during the day. We provide them a lunch, and when they come pick up lunch, we also give them breakfast for the next day. So we kind of give them a lunch and a breakfast. Hopefully, they're fortunate enough to get a dinner at home to get them through. We do provide them with the breakfast in the morning. We have a lot they do drive-bys. We have bags already prepackaged that we give to families that should last a family of 4 for at least 4 days. So our focus here seems to have turned to the children because we all know with school closed and children home all day and with nothing to eat, it could lead to some bad decisions that these kids get out here and make by breaking into people's homes, just trying to put food on their table. So we're trying to prevent that. We're trying to keep that number down, and the panic hasn't happened yet. Um, we just try to tell people to stay off the news and turn on the music, put on the gospel channel and get off CNN. And as you can see behind me, I got my CNN on. So, but I keep that on just to keep my family updated on what's going on because when that sun comes up in the morning, I will be leaving the house to go to work. But again, I'm fortunate enough to have between me and my wife, we bring home about 6 figures a year. So it's good to hear the life coach here say to have 4 to 6 months put away for your rainy day fund, and just being a little proactive. I called my mortgage company. I want to say Thursday, just to see where they were on the whole. Um, if people get laid off, and my mortgage company is one of the ones already are saying that they would default the 90 days, which is 3 months of mortgage payment, and put it on the back end of your mortgage with no penalty. I told them I
Now,
don't need to do that yet, but I was just calling to get just to be proactive in case it was a situation that happened like that. And my wife being a teacher, schools are closed, she's out, but fortunate enough that they get a choice of breaking their contracts down over a 12-month period, and that's how she did it. So she continues to get her check also.
okay, now I want you to, and the both of you, whichever one want to, explain what it means by the mortgage company saying that they will put 3 months on the back end without penalty. Can you explain what that really means?
Well, for me, I guess they're let's just say April, May, and June. If I couldn't make my payments, they would defer those 3 months. I guess it would extend my mortgage to now a 30-year, 3 months mortgage loan, with no penalty. Is I like they're not going to charge me a late fee, or I guess they wouldn't hit the credit bureaus as to say, hey, he has a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day late payment. That
Right.
will not affect my credit, which is great. And also, and another thing, what I hope people understand is when the floodgates open, when everything's all coast and clear, these big organizations and companies are going to want their money. Um, Even though the mortgages or companies are saying they'll default it to the back end, but like Duke Energy, who is our electric company, they're saying they're not going to penalize you for being late, or they're not going to penalize people that don't pay. But you go 2 or 3 months without paying your light bills, I don't see them actually putting all that on the back end. So I say that to say, be smart with your money. Just because you don't have to pay your bill now doesn't mean you're not going to have to pay double when the coast is clear.
Yeah, because that's a whole nother show, because there's some of us who love taking advantage of the situation, whether or not you're trying to scam or, whatever that is, but that's another show. We want to focus on, legit people who have legit issues, who's trying to make it to the next day, and to try to give some advice and some word. Trevor, I don't know if in the mix, in the meetings that you're talking to, with the caucus, anything like that, is there talk about how long this thing might last? And even like you said, for 3 months, have there been any conversation? I'm asking two questions: how long this thing might last, and what might happen if it goes past 3 or 4 months? Have there been any talk about that? Regina, have you read anything online about that as well? Whoever wants to go
We've
first.
talked.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Regina. No, I'll let
No,
you
I
go.
was,
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, I really have not. I've heard anywhere of 18 months, so I'm not really sure what the number would be, but I've heard it, for different pundits and whatever, what have you, say that it could be up to 18 months that it would take for us to come out of this.
Yeah, I heard also Larry down in Fort Lauderdale says about 18 months also.
About 18 months of this?
Yes. Not necessarily to this extent, but
Right.
to over, just because they say they have a cure for a virus, which a virus is just something I've always been told, and this needs to run its course.
Right.
Mhm.
I believe the breathing part of it is um, what's hurting people the most. Without those ventilation systems, and they can't control their breathing, and that's why I believe it affects the elderly. It's because it's strong. I mean, we all know we're getting old. It takes me a month to heal when he's breathing. They're just as some of us. So I think that's more of the issue. And but for now, man, we're just trying to take it one day at a time. As of now, the government, the CDC has only said shut down everything till April 16th, something around that area. And I guess we'll get a different answer after that. We'll move forward.
Now, you were speak. Oh, no. Go ahead.
I wanted to go back to something that Trevor said. I just want to go back real quick. When you're talking about the mortgage and Duke Energy and Orlando Utilities, whoever the utility company, it's imperative that even though you're hearing that they're not going to interrupt service and you're going to get some grace, still, if you're in a position where you can't pay your bill, you need to call them and find out what their process will be when this is over. How long are they going to let you go without paying your bill before they begin to interrupt service? And then once we start to get back to a normalcy, will you be able to make payment arrangements on those payments that you missed? So it's not just about, oh, we got a free ride for 3 months. You need to have a plan in place. And the only way you can have that plan in place is to call your utilities company, call your credit card company, call your mortgage company, and see what plans they have in place for all these people that are going to need some type of grace in the coming months. That's all.
So I say this and the three of us know what this means, being proactive
Right.
versus understanding I got a hookup.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Because
Right.
you know, some of us have that mentality. Oh, for the next month, I look like I might have a hookup. So, being proactive in understanding what's really going on, because you know what, I really don't think for the most now, somehow, some way they're gonna get their money.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
right. But what I'm saying is because we're in a place that they've never really been before, but they don't know how to break that thing up or how to go about it in a way that we can say, okay, we're gonna do this right now. But we have to remember they're gonna get their money. It's just they're gonna have to try to figure out how they gonna get their money
Right.
Hmm.
versus putting people out in the streets is what I'm saying. Before there's like, because there's some of us thinking, well, if I didn't pay this month, won't pay next month, and I'm good. I just pay whenever they say it start to be, for us to pay again. And that's what we're saying. At some point, they're gonna get their money.
Yeah, I mean, they have to survive too, and it's understandable that they're going to come after their money. That's why it's very important that we educate people on the importance of really putting that money away, not just going out. I mean, if you're not buying grocery or food for your families, it's really minimum items that you need. You shouldn't be shopping for clothes and outfits and shoes and stuff like that. That's just not a necessity right now.
Right.
So
Okay, well,
they're
we'll
they're
see.
they're really doing us a favor on building your savings.
Right.
I'm
Well,
sure they're not going to come back and say we want all 3 months. No, but they're going to come back and say, okay, it's July now. We want our July payment and we want some of our April payment too. You
Right.
know,
right.
as long as you got your money put up, then you shouldn't have any issues.
Well, let me tell you something, Trevor. Regina, won't you just talk about some of these challenges that you face?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Of understanding, because as you say, you know what, we really shouldn't go out shopping for no pocketbooks, for no shoes, and blah 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 blah. I got a question, Regina. I mean, I'm joking, but yeah, but I'm being serious at the same time.
right.
What and I ask you this right here. What do you think are going to be some of the challenges for your clientele, Regina? And Trevor, let me ask you this right here. For where you are and the conversation you have in the circle as being part of the Black Caucus and understanding things from a political standpoint and looking at us where the because you it's being in politics. So
Hmm.
there's a different way, and I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm saying it because you will probably look out and see things a little differently than Regina and her clientele. But overall, as a politician, you see this country or the state or your county as a whole. So you probably see things differently in how you would go about, but it's still the same problem. So as you look out
Right.
from the seat that you sit in and challenges that you face in trying to get us to really understand what's going on. And Regina, what you think is going to be your challenge for your clientele to get them to really understand what's going on, because we're in a place that it's hard to see tomorrow versus 3 months from now, or the fact that you walk out the door and I see they done shut down the malls. And Trevor, just to let you know, on the show we with Vince Carter, there's a gentleman that we also do the show with that's out of Vegas. Vince is in Tennessee. Rory is in Vegas. So the thing, as we started about a week or so ago, they was like, well, when when Apple shut down, there's gonna be something wrong. Apple shut down. Then they said, well, when Disney shut down, because it was like they are not gonna shut down. Then Disney shut
Hmm.
down. And then they was like, well, we know Vegas is not gonna shut down. Now
So,
Vegas is
yeah,
shut down. So now they like, oh my goodness. So that has been the talk on the show because we're like, well, Disney, because as Vince would say, the mouse is not going to shut down. Then he said, well, we know those casinos are still going to be rolling. So
yeah.
we're in times in which we have never faced in my lifetime, in sense of what's going on. Again, how do we try to get our people, and I'm talking this country as a whole, to be patient and to really, we can get through this. What is it that you would be telling your clientele, uh, Regina, in your circle, as a person who speaks for your county, Trevor? What is it that you would be saying? And whoever want to go first.
Well, one of the things I told you when we first started this, one of the questions that I ask when I'm approached about assisting someone with their finances is I ask them, are you teachable? Are you coachable? And there are those that say yes, and you find out later there's some challenges there with listening and understanding why I'm saying the things that I say. Um, right now, with the clients that I have now, they're pretty understanding, and most of them are in a good position. And Charles, you and I have also talked in the last couple of days about some things that can't be fixed. So if I have a client, and I have had some in the past, that just refuse to stick with the spending plan, to go out and buy bags and shoes and things of that nature that are not helpful to their current situation. Those are situations that I can't help. So the majority of the people that I'm speaking to now, not in the best position, but not in the worst position either, not as bad as they were when we started because they stuck to the plan. And I just kind of talk to them and just let them know that this is not forever. This too shall pass. Continue to do what you're doing. And despite the fact that a lot of businesses are shutting down, there are still businesses out there that are hiring. I think I read something the other day where Walmart was going to hire 150,000 people. I'm not sure where those jobs are going to be, but all hope is not gone. All hope is not lost.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's basically where we are.
and I also did see on the news that I think at the end of the month that but Publix is supposed to be hiring a lot of people as well.
Hmm.
Publix is supposed
Yeah.
to be hiring a lot of people. So, Trevor, what is it that that you would try to emphasize when you're talking to people in your circle?
Again, the only thing, most important thing, man, is to be smart with your money. Because, like she said, this is not going to last forever. It is going to end. And when it ends, you don't want to be on the wrong side of the financial curve,
Right.
especially when they're giving you a 3 month break. So I would really advise a lot of people to find more life coaches like the young lady here on the phone, on this call, on this webcam, and really get educated on options and the best thing to do with the monies you are allowed to save at this time.
Mhm.
Well, this is something that I don't know, Regina, if you read this online, but Trevor, do you have any indication of what they're trying to do with this $2 trillion? Do you have any idea of what they're trying to do or what they're trying to pass in the Senate and the House?
Just
Yeah,
Does
fail.
it's funny
anybody?
you say that. And actually, it failed today. I just
Right.
saw about an hour and a half ago that the vote failed. So,
Yeah.
and I was talking to my accountant about 2 days ago, and I asked him, "So, what's going on with the stimulus package?" Because $1,000 where they started, $1,000 is really that's no money. We all know $1,000 can be gone. You can have it today, and it'll be gone when you wake up in the morning when you pay your light
Mhm.
bill, water bill, cable bill, put some gas in your cars, and buy your grocery. That $1,000 is gone, and then what do you do for the next 2 months? And
Mhm.
he told me they upped it to $1,200 per adult, and then you get up to $5 up to kids.
Right.
So when that me, to get five. So that's $1,000. I can get $1,200. My wife can get $1,200. So to me, that's 2, 3 into my household time. 5 alone in my household. I mean, the way we live, we can eat a month or two off of $500. All it takes us is one visit to Sam's Club, and my house is full of groceries with $500. So, with that being said, that's also an opportunity to save some money. Again, it's not money to go out and put new rims on your car or get a paint job on your car or buy clothes. You just have to. Man, I just wish. Regina, I wish you can touch everybody and tell them, give them some actually life coaching skills, because now is the time for people to actually take advantage of a bad situation and come up at the end. When the gates open up, it should be a lot more people ready to start small businesses if necessary. Just got to do right with your money. And I can't say it enough. The opportunity is here to make the right decisions financially.
And even with the buying of the groceries, you have to make smart food choices. And that
My
doesn't
wife told me.
mean ribeye steaks, So
That's right. That's right. But you know what? When I go to, I tend to fall through Publix every day. Like I went yesterday. I went to get where did I go? I went to get a loaf of bread, right? I should have went in Publix and spent $2. Spent $84. I bought bread. I bought 2 loaves of bread, right? I bought bananas. I bought a gallon of tea, a gallon of lemonade. And I've been doing that for the last 4 days. And my wife said, if you go to Publix one more time, you better not come back with nothing. But, it's just consciously, I just buy the things that just everything's not necessary, but it is because it's food. If they shut us down today in the house, we're pretty stocked up. And not to say I have a huge garden in my backyard. I got tomatoes for days, bell peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers, cabbage, greens, broccoli. I grow all that stuff here. So, and I cut it up and freeze it, put it in Ziploc bags and store it away in a freezer I have in my garage. So, for me, I honestly, I'm excited about this stimulus package.
I'm curious, where you from originally?
I'm born and raised right here in St. Pete. My parents from Georgia though, so I kind of got it.
See, I knew it. I knew it.
Right.
No,
My parents from Georgia, but they were raised in
because I grew up like that. So
okay.
we always had a garden and we always had chickens, right?
Okay.
So
I ain't went the chicken route yet.
And so, but see, Regina. Because remember I tell you about when, Regina and we talk about, her being the life coach, but then we also talk about some other stuff when it comes to the boy-girl thing, right? Remember when I tell you about the show when I was, trying to explain to you, right? So then, like this right here, see, Regina, it's times like this where I be saying, I don't understand them brothers that marry those sisters that don't cook. I just see now it'd be like, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do? But all in all, I went to the store, and then I caught myself because I was like, all the stuff that I buy was in the store, so there was nothing as a shortage of when I went to Walmart shopping that I looked, and even though I did see the shelves, this shelf, that, and I looked up because I was thinking there was gonna be no bread on the. There was plenty bread. Well, because I mainly just eat wheat bread. Not that it matters, but there was plenty bread. But then normally I just buy 1 loaf, and I end up buying 3. And then I was like, why did I buy 3 loaves of bread? But but at this time, and now when I was talking to Rory, the gentleman that's in Vegas, when we did the show Wednesday, and he sent a video yesterday, and he's driving around Vegas, and you know what, I I should have showed it, but there's nobody. He's just all the casinos. He's driving down the strip, and there's nobody. I mean, it's like 4 cars on the road. There's nobody on the sidewalk. It's just empty, which was, odd for Vegas. So I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas, but it's kind of like New York City. When you go to New York City or anywhere like that, it's just like people everywhere. But it's just in the times that, that we're in. And then, we're talking about what's going on, around the world. What are the conversation? Because I don't. Do you know Christina Forrest? Do you know Christina? Trevor?
Just
Because
I don't know.
well, Christina is part of the Black Caucus,
Up in the she was in the Santa Rosa,
right?
but her husband's in the military. Yes, I know. Now they're in California.
Right. So she's
Yeah.
been on the show. So
Okay.
normally I have her like in the past when when your president do something crazy, which is all the time. I
Mm,
have her come on the show, and she was, and I try to get a feel for the talk in the Black Caucus,
hmm.
like, and I say, well, did you get a phone call today? She said, my phone is always blowing up based on what's going on in the White House, you know.
Right.
So, and because you really can't like rationalize and have a like talk in the sense that we'll say, well, this makes sense why he would say this, or this makes sense why he would do this, because none of it makes sense to the common person. You just sit there and be like, well,
Sure doesn't.
I thought I heard it all, until all of a sudden be like, oh, he done topped himself again.
Right.
he done,
Yeah.
he done topped
You say
himself.
that every day.
Right. So in this, and that, what's going on is almost like he can't be secondary because he is the president of the United States. And in this madness, it's almost like there are certain things that has to be taken out of his hands. I think this is me personally. I think he has now to listen to people around him. And I'm hoping, because I don't know, that the people around him are able to do what needs to be done to help this country get back in the direction it needs to go. And I'm talking about all this madness that's going on in the sense of this virus, how scary it is, people dying. One out of 3 people now are in this country are was told, basically not to leave the house. So
Hmm.
it's, and then you keep hearing, and I don't know if you heard this in your circle, Trevor, that is it the Stafford Act, the Stafford Law, Stafford
Effort,
Act,
effort.
That, that's right.
Yeah.
right. Have you heard anything about that in your circle?
Well, not really over here. And again, I believe our cases are. I think New York is about it more than Florida. Just last week, just were flooded with spring breakers. That younger generation is just not taking this thing as seriously as we are. I was born in the '70s. I'm 47 years old, so I tend to take this a little more serious. Even my own kids, they don't. I have a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 13-year-old, and they don't really understand the
Right.
severity of what's going on out there. They're just, oh, school's closed. Well, yeah, we can stay home every day, but then they want to go to this place and that place and this place, and I'm not comfortable. I rather them stay home. If you want to do something, go outside and play in the yard. I'm just not a fan of them going. I'm glad a lot of this stuff is shutting down, and it helps you to keep your kids at bay.
Yeah, because and see, this is something that I was going to say earlier when you were talking. I've been working in the school system for years, been mentoring for years and years and years. I've worked with the Urban League and people have no idea that the school system for a lot of these kids, the only meal they get,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and people don't,
Absolutely.
and people don't understand that. They really don't. And they make it seem like, huh? But it'd be like, for a lot of these kids, this is the only meal.
Yeah.
Or when they leave school, the meal that they may come home to may just be a peanut butter jelly sandwich or something like that.
Mhm.
And so people can't wrap their minds, they just don't understand what I just said. And so not only do they don't understand it, they don't even know where to begin to even try to be, you know, like, well, what can I do? Let alone if they
And
care.
and and that's why we don't only just give them lunch. We give them a breakfast for the next morning.
Right,
Um, Again, unfortunately, some of those kids probably eat it at night for dinner, their breakfast, and
right,
then they probably won't get another meal until we start distributing lunches the next day. I'm in South St. Pete. We have about 6 locations, which are all at schools, where the parents can drive by and pick that stuff up for their kids. We even have delivery vans that if the parents can't make it, because in here again in St. Pete, you have a lot of grandparents raising these children, and these elderly grandparents can't get without the public transportation. So we have hotlines that they can call and tell us how many kids are in the house, and we have people to deliver and drop off on their porch. And then those pretty much are the families we're giving the bags to they should last for about 4 days with the stuff that we have packaged up, prepackaged for the families.
let, let me ask you this right here, and I asked them both because, and I don't, I've never on this show tried to say a Democrat is this or Republican is that or independent is this,
Right.
independent is that. To me, it's the spirit of the person. I would always tell Christine, my own personal opinion was that until we as a whole, as a country, which I doubt will ever happen, begin to understand it's the system. Until we fix the system and to understand that for a lot of us, not all, but for a lot of us, regardless of the party, that the system is set up in order for it a lot of times for it to fail because the people who get in power for whatever reason, was not somebody bought a seat, was not somebody trying to hold on to a seat. Because I always say it's not about the people, it's about the fraternity and the sorority. And that's what happens when they sit in that seat a lot of times. Not everybody, it becomes about the fraternity versus the people. That's not everybody, but that's just my own opinion. And so when you are in this position and you want to help, I think a lot of times people see the seat that they sit in and they try to do any and everything to try to keep it. But my question that I want to ask, are we in a times where you have seen the differences? Is there a separation between the Democrats and the Republican now? Or do you see this thing as something that can help both parties finally stop dealing with that spirit that's coming from Washington, D.C., and kind of get back to at least how they used to be in trying to fix what is broken in this country right now?
Um, Seems like that's not the case because number one, they can't even agree on the stimulus package, right? That's number one. And number two, what we do here locally when it comes to providing meals, we're not asking these people Republican or Democrat. This is a nonpartisan situation here. This affects everybody. So even being a member of the Black Caucus, I don't care if it's a Republican family that needs food. I'm not going to even ask that question, so I wouldn't even know if you're a Republican or Democrat. We're just taking care of the people that are at need and making sure everybody's what party affiliation is. It's not about that, especially for me when it comes to this situation. And this is just my personal opinion.
Right.
Um, but I don't think that matters at all. It doesn't
Well,
to me. So I'm just
right.
feeding and taking care of these families.
Well, I wasn't necessarily talking about that, Trevor, but I was just talking about overall the relationship, and I'm asking because I asked Christine, I said, "Do you have any Republican friends?" And then she said, "Yeah," but what I was talking about was that whoever those friends are, she said, she said because right now she can't talk to him, and I don't know what that means in a sense, but I'm saying,
Right.
but what I'm saying is, for whatever reason in the circle, and I wasn't necessarily talking about that part. I'm just talking about the overall coming together to try to solve the problems what we're going through right now. And Regina, I was asking you, did you have any Republican friends that, you know what? I didn't even ask you if you were a Republican or a Democrat. You know, I guess I was just assuming that you're a Democrat. But anyway, I'm saying, have you seen them talk? Friends, you know, friends that are Republican, friends that are Democrats, that are friends that can talk. Because some of us, family members, can't talk about when it comes to politics or even when it comes to religion. You know, sometimes we just lose our minds. So I was asking in the circle, do you have some of them that are able to communicate and talk? And will this help even them talk more is what I was asking. Either one.
Well, I know some Republicans. I can't really say that we're, friends. We're friendly. I can't say that we're friends. And and we get along fairly well. Um, I don't talk about their president, and so we tend to have we're able to laugh together
You
and
don't talk
kind of
out loud about the president, but yeah.
right. They might overhear me say some things and know who I'm talking about, but we're not having a discussion about him and his policies. So yeah.
Trevor, Trevor, in the circle, do you have any? Do you know of any? Not necessarily, I mean, any that talk because because what we would like to think, we would like to think, we would like to think that people care about people, and you can have your differences, but the bottom line
Right.
is, it's like, and this is what just, I mean, the spirit itself. Because when you hear, not all, but I'm saying, when you hear one, let's just say the Democratic, I mean, I'm a Democrat and I talk about the Republicans. Then I'm a Republican, I talk about Democrat. That spirit that act like whatever the Republican came up with is no good, has never been any good, never had a good idea, ain't nothing good for
Yeah.
the country. And then for the other side, they talk like that idea is just going to kill the world and it's never going to be a
Mhm.
good idea. And it's just like, what's frustrating is, it's like you come at me as if though I have no brains, no common sense, no nothing. It's because we are supposed to be one against the other, which I'm just putting on my personal stuff in it right now, but
Right.
it becomes frustrating because, to be honest, Regina, I don't know if I remember. I mean, I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but when Trump and Hillary was running for the president, I
Mhm.
stood there for about 20 minutes looking at it like, man, I've never took that long to vote. Only because I was like, these my only two choices? I need something
Right.
else. I'm
Yeah.
serious. No, I'm
Yeah.
serious. I was sitting there like, I need, this is, so I'm frustrated because I'm like, these my only two choices? You know, and I certainly wasn't going to vote for Trump. And I say that, I certainly wasn't going to vote for Trump, but I'm still sitting there like this right here. Like, man, these my only two choices? Really?
Right.
Something is not right. But anyway, I don't
And
forgot what
and
my
you know
question
what?
was now.
That's okay. I know where you're at. I got something for you.
Oh, okay.
The thing about it is I do have some Republican friends, and not even thinking about it until you brought the topic up, but consciously, I guess we're not working together
Right.
because a lot of these assistance programs that are being put together are from our elected officials, and when they put these conference calls together, it's normally with party affiliation. Just for
Okay.
instance, Charlie Crist, he's our congressman. His people on the ground here locally, they're going to reach out to the Democratic base. So to say that is, I can guarantee you everybody that's on that conference call, whether it's 20 or 30 of us, more likely we're all Democrats.
Right.
So I can't really say, man, you really made me think about something. When we're out there doing that, my Republican friends aren't there. It is mainly just the Democrats. And again, so because a lot of these things are being put together, I guess, by party affiliation, being that it's your elected official for your area.
Right. All right. Yeah, because I've been, of course, over the last since either 2013, 2014, they're videotaping with the Democratic Black Caucus, and some of the speakers that they bring in. And I'll be honest with you. I just be straight honest with you. I hear some of these speakers speak, Trevor, and they're talking about the people, and they're talking
Hmm.
about people that need help. And then they talk about the circumstances in the situation. And then when they finish speaking, you say to yourself, as a human being with any type of heart and concern, how you don't want this for people. So now you're thinking like, what is this about over here? Because when you hear people speak of the needs and what should be done, and you're hearing something totally opposite of what they're doing, it's kind of like a wake up call to the reality of life and how different we are in our understanding and our purpose. Because there's a
Right.
saying that I always say, Trevor, and I've been saying it for a long time, and this is my own personal thing. It's kind of like I'll pick up the Bible, and when Trump was running, for the presidency, I did a thing with my pastor. Now this is my personal thing. And then I said, for those who understand this Bible and what's in it and what it stands for, how do you, if you're a believer of this Bible and what it says and how we should be living, how do you vote for anybody with that spirit? Which was brought to my attention with one of the mentors of my pastor. He said something to me the other day, and he said, there are people who supposedly, and I don't mean to take it to where I'm taking it, but he did say something. He said, for the believers who believe and say that they believe, you gave him money. Not only did you give him money and you're supposed to be a believer, you voted for him and you are a believer. That's what you say you are. So the two don't go together, Trevor, because I have no other
Right.
way of looking out at life but through it, scripture and the Bible and what I am led by. So I have nothing else to measure it against. And so when I look at the two parties, and if it's about what it's supposed to be about, I would say, why do you have two different parties if you're living by what this here says? Because if you live
Right.
by what this here says, there would be no such thing. So that's why I
Right.
go into it being about the fraternity, because it can't be about what scripture and what God says is supposed to be. Because if it was, we would be on one accord. It'll be about the people, not our own
Hmm.
self-interest, because I see all of that and you go down the line of why Satan got kicked out of heaven. Then you look at why we got two different parties. But that's just me. And, I'm just talking about my own personal stuff here, because I have no other way to look at it. So
And
when,
they say politicians got to tell you what you want to hear. That don't necessarily mean that's what they firmly believe in. So
well,
you kind of got to wean out the fluff and having your his opinion because a lot of people tell you what they think you want to hear. I'm the
Well,
master of it.
but see, that's the thing though.
Hmm.
And see, I'm putting all my personal stuff into it, but to me, I think the politicians have very little to to worry about because we are so into the mix and so hated. We hate each other among the people that are down here who vote for them, that we don't really pay attention to them, and that we really don't emphasize the fact that they're supposed to work for us. But that's
Right.
not how we deal with them, and that's not how we really look at. As we look at them, we don't look at it as if though they're working for us. It's like we, for some odd reason, think their power is supposed to be their power in which how they just get away with stuff because they know how divided and separated we are as a country. And so I'm fighting with you because you got a bigger house. I'm fighting with you because the color of your skin. I'm fighting with you because of this. I'm fighting with you because I don't like you this and I don't like you that. In the meantime, they just sitting up there like this right here, like, yeah, y'all just keep on doing what you're doing and pay no attention to what we really supposed to be doing. But again, that's just my own personal stuff. You know, I didn't mean for it to come out like that, but we got a crisis going on, and I just did a thing Saturday, and it's called "What Do You Do in the Terms of a Crisis? Where is your faith?" And so I had the pastors talking about Scripture and what the Scripture says, and how we have contributed to, and I won't get into that because that's a different show, of our times and what's going on. And so now we have to do something, Trevor, Regina. You know, as a
Mm-hmm.
whole, we have to do something as a whole because we have no choice. And so I know Regina has a good heart. I know that my friend Jill spoke very highly of you. So if Jill spoke highly of you, Trevor, you must be all right.
Yeah.
So
That's,
so quickly tell us, you are running for. Tell us what you're running for.
I'm running for president of the state branch of the Black Caucus, which is the Democratic Black Caucus. I'm now currently the president in my county, which is Pinellas County, and we have an election coming up in May or June. If it gets postponed in May, then we're looking at the second week of June. So I'm president of the whole state of Florida. I have 33 chapters throughout the state, 6 counties. So you got to pick that number up. We only have 33 active chapters, so we got a little work to do. And now in this year would be the best year to try to accomplish that mission to get that thing done because one thing we got to know for sure is we don't want Trump. We don't want 45 back in that office. So make sure to educate all many African Americans we can. And we got to make them understand that their vote, because I hear that a lot in my circle is why people don't vote is because they think their vote doesn't count. And my reply to that is, if your vote didn't count, why do you think so to take it away from you? Vote does matter. And we keep, I say, African Americans educated on the importance of voting because we have to get someone in that office that leads to our agenda. Joe Biden, I think, is the better choice right now. Um, um, but he's in there and just do the right thing.
Well,
Right now, the mission is to get 45 out, and we need another president to take over the White House.
okay. Well, I would like to have you come back on the show, you know, for sure, because I actually would have a
Definitely.
lot of questions for you. Because
Okay.
you know, you don't know it, but I was I, I did a lot of stuff with Henry, and Henry would call me,
Hmm.
your former president,
Yeah, Henry
and
Crespo.
yeah, and we would talk from time to time, and we actually did some stuff together, and because Henry is very outspoken.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's that down south.
yeah.
Yeah,
Miami, and so
yeah.
Yeah, and so Henry, man, he's a little pistol. He's the former president of the Democratic Florida caucus, and so he was always fun to talk to because Henry always had something to say.
Yeah, all the all the
Yeah. So, but with that being said, if we can wrap it up with some advice from the both of you, and it could be something that you said earlier, but for those that's tuning in, we're just trying to give you some advice on these times and what we should be doing. And so I'll let you two have the last word on what we can do to help ourselves and to try to help each other. And I see a little baby back there.
I
yeah.
know.
See why they need to open the schools back up. This my little 6-year-old Malia. She
Okay.
just had to get on camera. Say hi.
Hi,
Say
Malia.
hi.
All right.
And then that's my
See?
10-year-old behind me is Michaela.
Well, see,
Hi,
you
Malia.
can tell. You can tell he's a proud father because you know being a father. Oh yeah. Come on. And
Yeah,
see,
I'm what they call one of those girl dads. That's
yeah,
me.
yeah, and
I'm
see,
definitely one of them.
Your
and
girl dad.
and and see, you got one of these grandmothers on now that think being a grandmother is like the best thing since sliced bread.
It is.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I love my babies, man.
Yeah, all right. So leave us with something that we can lean on. Leave us something to give us some advice of these times and what we can do. And let me ask you, Trevor, is this is this $2 million? I mean, this $2 trillion stimulus
Mhm.
is it going to happen?
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical about it, but I really want to say I believe it will, just because it only helps the economy. It only helps the market go back to where it needs to be faster,
Yeah.
fast as possible. Um, that's where be just be careful out there, everybody. Um, Practice the social distancing for now. Take care of your families. Keep your family safe. Be smart with your money. Don't just run out and go shopping. Just be smart with your money and get out and vote, man. We need everybody to get out there and vote because your vote does matter.
Okay. Regina, you think it's going to happen?
I do. I think it has to happen. It has to happen
Yeah.
in order to get. We may not get the economy back to where it was a few months ago, but I think it will certainly help it. Help it begin to rise again. And I, for one, I mean, I saw the hit to my 401k every time 45 spoke, and I had to move things around. I had to take things out of the stock market and just put it into the bonds because I almost fainted when I saw what happened. So, but my advice would be to make those phone calls. Um, Call your creditors, call your mortgage company, speak to your landlord, call the utility companies, your cable companies. Make those phone calls because the day is going to come when that money is due.
Right.
So,
And, and
in the case of your mortgage company, like Trevor said, they put it on the back end, but they don't really do that. There's no back end to your utilities. So, you need to make those phone calls.
and again, being proactive, communication is the key. Communication is the key. Don't just
Right,
do not say anything. Do
right,
not pretend like the
exactly.
bill is not there. You need
Right.
Right.
to communicate with somebody.
I used to work for Florida Power before it was Duke Energy, and so questions that we would ask in times not necessarily like this, but in similar times is you knew that this bill was due 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're not afraid to tell you that. So it's important, incumbent on them or whoever's if you're having issues, to make those phone calls, be proactive and make those phone calls.
Well, I want to thank the both of you, Trevor and
Charles, I do have a question for Trevor, though.
okay, okay, good,
Yes,
good.
yes.
What high school did you graduate from in St. Pete?
Lakewood, Lakewood.
Lakewood Spartans.
Oh, that's
I,
where you from too?
I'm kind of from St. Pete too. So, but you were probably in the era with my brother. My brother Michael Johnson. He was a couple of years ahead of you, I think, because he graduated in '89. So if you
Okay.
graduated in '91.
I was in
Yeah,
'91.
yeah. They lived down in Lakewood. So you said South State.
And
Yeah,
then
I said okay.
I grew up in Lakewood too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I grew
Okay.
up in
Small
Lakewood
world.
State.
Very small world.
Yeah,
Well,
it
That's
see,
all.
is. Well, nice to meet you, Regina.
Nice to
well,
meet
see,
you.
well, see, it as part of this conversation. Now, the only question I would ask, and she would know this, is that you would have to find a good fishing spot over there for me. So you have to tell me where the drums and the reds are running, so I know to go where to
Oh,
go fishing.
yeah, yeah, I got you.
Oh, really?
Coming this
See,
way.
now
Oh,
I
yes,
get
sir.
excited.
Well, let me ask you a question now. I got one. Are you afraid to wade in the water?
Oh no, no,
You do that.
yeah,
That's how
oh
my
yeah,
dad
Okay, then we got you. We take care of you. You get some reds and some trout.
oh okay, all
Yes,
right,
sir.
all
I
right.
know where
Do
to
you
take you.
do you do, do you catch the trout with the bobber fishing on top?
We
No,
do it.
huh? Oh, you
Bob, you don't need a barber. You got to be.
okay? All right. When is a good time for the trout?
We might have just missed trout season because the
Right,
water getting a
right,
little too warm now.
right, right.
But
That's why I
right now,
asked.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
get some
you're in
reds
trouble
right
now,
now.
Trevor. You're in trouble
Huh?
now. You're in trouble now, Trevor.
That's okay. That's okay. We they here, man, and we'll go get them.
Okay. 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 Hey, I've had a kayak for over a year and I've yet to take it out. So I got a kayak too.
I got the perfect spot, Pinellas Point.
Okay. All right.
We
Hey,
got
hey,
30 docks. We can fish around all the docks, and we be in
hey,
waist high water.
hey. With the way time is now, you will see me soon.
I'll be here, man. I'll be here, brother. It's not far from my house. We'll be to the water in 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about.
There we
All right.
go.
All right. Well, I want to thank the both of you for coming on the Journey 2020, where we come to you every Monday at 7 p.m. And you can always reach us by email as well. You can text us. And we appreciate you. Make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button as well on YouTube and Facebook. And everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Charles Morris, and you be blessed.